Don't Give Up Your Day Job, a local musician's guide. By me, Paul Gillings. An educational and sometimes humorous look at what it's like to be part of the local music scene. So welcome again to my podcast, Don't Give Up Your Day Job. I'm going to do another spotlight episode, shining on some individual local talent and getting them to share their individual stories. And joining me in the studio today, because I basically badgered him into it because I love what he does, is Mr. Ben Lever. Hello, Ben.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm all right. Good evening. Thanks for coming over. And because you're getting a double grill in today, Danny R, the soft tones of Danny R, is in the studio too.
Hello, peoples. How's things?
All right, mate. Thanks for coming over. It's hot foot from doing a quote for the plumbing.
Yeah. Straight out of the bathroom, straight into the podcast.
Straight out. Yes, darling. You want a new shitter in there? I want it. Yeah. So sizing up for a new toilet and then coming in to talk about music and rock and roll.
That's right.
It is living the dream, mate. Totally. Never giving up that day job or evening job. I didn't know whether Ben was going to be here. It's like we hadn't confirmed. Like, of course, I knew you were going to be here. But you had a hectic day as well, didn't you, mate?
Literally, you sent me a message. What, about 4:30?
Yeah.
And I was in the car on the way home. And it pinged. I was in traffic. And I was like, shit. Oh, here we go. I'd completely forgotten. Manic day at work. Thing is, I've been up for it all week. Literally, it's like, because it's not often you get to do something like this.
No.
So I was like, yeah, here we go. And then like today was just
of course,
a crazy day.
Yeah.
Sitting in the car with the missus, and she's just like. Like, you can't see
this.
Like,
can't see that
you can't see this.
Can't see the mind, thankfully.
She's going to listen to this as well, so I've already started off. There's your first edit. Yeah, she's telling me about her day, so I'm just like, yeah, great, awesome. And then I get a text, and it's like, oh, yes, here we go. I better have a shower before I go.
Well, I think that's the first one. Yeah, right. No, you're in good company. We're in the music. We're in the studio, so there's only two other sweaty blokes in here, so that's fine, mate. That's good. And the weather as it is was probably going to get warmer anyway. But Ben, why I asked you to come here and have a chat, but I find what you do brilliant and also as a performer fascinating. I mean, I've seen you on the local scene over the last 4 or 5 years, I think, and every time you play a completely set of different covers. And you play them superbly and managing to do it in your own style as well, singing, playing acoustic guitar. And I've only seen you do the solo stuff.
Yeah.
But it turns out I've probably seen you in your other band, the Boston Tea Party. I want to talk to you about that as well. And you've also been out as the Jimmy Luffman Experience. So I'm going to ask you who the hell Jimmy Luffman is at one point.
That's a great story.
But mate, what I want to start with is what are you doing musically at the moment then between all of those things?
So at the moment we've got the Boston Tea Party going. It's been since we were on a huge run of shows.
The Boston Tea Party is what, party function band?
That's what they aim to do that. So I was away, working away, living in a different country, and came back. And Bob Nunny, who's a fantastic drummer, he's been on the scene for years. Most people know him as Afro Bob, big blonde afro of hair.
He's playing White Cab.
He did, yeah. Not Clever.
I've heard of Not Clever, definitely. Yeah.
Oh, he's played in loads of bands. He's great.
Yeah.
But he literally, first week I came back, they were playing at the Lady of the Lake, so I went and watched them. And their singer was leaving, and Bob had posted all over Facebook, need a singer, and I was like, oh, hi.
Hello, I'll do it.
I'm bored, I need something to do.
Oh, perhaps that weren't you when I saw him then at the Rope Works with a lady playing keyboards?
Yeah, well, they've had, for their first few years, they were like a revolving door of members.
Oh, really? Okay.
They've had different bass players, different guitar players come in. Bob and Masie, the singer, were the original sort of guys like that stayed through the different incarnations. By the time I got there, there was a female keyboardist, Maisie Harper singing, who's got this fantastic, strong, Adele-like voice, but she can sing absolutely anything.
Awesome.
Bob on the drums, a guy called Stav Allen on the guitar, and Rob Baker was playing guitar and singing. He left. I stepped in, and we went as a functioning band, played a few weddings, a few private parties. I started pushing them into the pub gigs. It was like, we were just sitting around doing nothing, practicing every week.
So instead of waiting for the function or the thing to come up, you'd say, well, let's just get down a pub and play for a few coin anyway, right?
I'd been playing in a band called the Bricktops for years around our stuff, which was like a Britpop tribute band, and had a decent connection with a lot of pubs and landlords. So I came back and said, come on, let's do it. So we did it. Eventually the two girls left, one went to uni, Maisie went travelling, and we went as a 3-piece.
So it's just 3 guys now.
It's
All the
three
girls, all the
guys,
keyboards, everything. So it's just guitar, bass. I say just guitar, bass, and drums. My favourite combo. There's no just about that.
It's
That's what I love.
brilliant. I always find it hard playing with another guitarist. Because you've actually got to communicate with them and work things out. And
well,
you've got to push egos aside and like, I want to do this bit, I want to do this bit, but it gets awkward.
It's just like, I could probably name on one hand out of all the twin guitar bands, ones that really work really well.
Yeah.
That really have got it together. I don't mean local bands, I mean even the big boys.
Yeah.
That twin guitar doesn't always work out, does it?
It doesn't.
It's hard to do.
The ones you find it works really well in is like AC/DC.
Thin Lizzy.
Yeah, they did it really well.
They really did.
AC/DC, they were brothers, weren't they? So I mean, they'd been playing with each other since kids.
Have you got any brothers or sisters?
No, not really.
I've been in a band with my brother, and we fought like cat and dog.
See, I've been in bands with best friends since I've known since the first day of middle school, and we fight like cat and dog to this day. So that's the reason the Bricktop still don't go now, mate, to be fair. And Jukari, the original hip hop band I was in.
Because that's where Danny said he knew you from originally.
Yeah.
Jukari. Now even I remember that knocking around, and I was probably up to my arm in nappies around that sort of time when you two boys are gracing the scene. So Danny, tell me about Jukari. What were they like? What was his band like from another point of view?
Hard hitting, man. It came out like hip hop. It was like rage. It was a mix of mate. It's exactly
original stuff, not covers like you do now.
I mean, you had a great diverse setup between you guys as well, and that's, I really liked it. Mate. I was bouncing around whilst everybody else was breaking fire alarms. I was bouncing around.
And before we come on there, you two were talking about one particular Battle of the Bands competition. I feel there should be a Battle of the Bands episode because they're notorious, and every musician, I think, along their journey must have been in one Battle of the Bands at some point or another.
More than likely. I've done a few.
I was in one
my younger days.
I was in one in Norwich at what became at Fat Paulie's, which was Norwich Pool Club, and that literally descended into an absolute all-out mall scrap between our fans and the leading band. Yeah, that's because we were doing covers. And we brought along like a load of guys from work, and the singer's mum and dad had come along just because they were really supportive, and we were young and stuff. And the sort of band on after us, who obviously wanted to win it, were an original band, and they said they kept making reference to the fact that the singer's mum and dad had turned up. If there's any mums or uncles or sons out there still left to hear this, go and fuck yourselves and stuff like that. So that's just our fans, so it was melee. I just ran out the back door.
Really?
Got the car and drove home. I ran. But I didn't quite get like that for you boys, did it? So there was an accusation of a fire alarm being set off?
Yeah, apparently so.
During somebody's set?
Like I say, I had to disappear. I had to disappear soon after our set, so I wasn't there, but I get calls saying, we've all gone through. Like the Jukari have gone through to the next round. I think it was the first round. So we're pleased as fans. We've been a band about 3 months. We'd had hit the floor running sort of start. Just at the brewery and things like that, but for locally, for a bunch of sort of, especially we're probably in our early 20s. It's like, come on, let's fucking
That's a great start, isn't it? It's your first on the scene.
Filling out the brewery, we were supporting like 6 Degrees of Separation a lot, and they like Jamos and all them guys, you know them.
So we were supporting Raucous, and because we were like classic rock kind of. Yeah, so we were chalk and cheese.
That's it.
That sense,
we were chalk and cheese with everybody, mate. Absolutely everybody. Didn't matter where we went, we were chalk and cheese.
Well, I think that's why people spoke about it, and I think you've got to stand out a bit, and I think that's why we do as a duo, Danny, and stuff like that for our original stuff, because where are people listening to that combination of instruments, and sometimes it's not even that it's done well, although Jukari clearly was, and so is what we do, but it's just different. You don't hear that, and I think to stand out your USP, if you want to put a thing on it, isn't it, for something like that.
Jukari was basically started from a few riffs that I'd written to try and start this original band, and then I bumped into Kieran, who was the MC, and I hadn't seen him for years. He was an old school friend, and he basically, we get really drunk, we go back to his place, crack on with whatever else is happening, and he pulls out this crappy old laptop. He's got no speakers, no headphones. He's like, listen to this, and he's holding this speaker up to my ear. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, who the fuck is this? And it's all this these random hip hop tracks, and he's like, I made them with another one of our school friends, a good friend of mine, Daniel Cochran, who was in the Bricktops, and a few other guys. And I was like, well, I think me and a friend of mine, me and my drummer at the time, Dibley, we didn't even have a band. We'd agreed to play at the brewery supporting 6 Degrees of Separation.
And you didn't have a band?
We didn't have a band.
I love it.
And like, the gig was booked like 6 months before.
No, jealous as I do, I thought he would probably think that was awesome.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. It was on the 27th of September, and at the start of September, this whole story with Kieran happened, and it was like, right, I've got these riffs, let's put your raps to these riffs. I knew nothing about hip hop. But I'd also watched a classic albums episode, VH1.
Oh yeah, love that series.
The Nevermind episode.
Oh yeah.
And you've got Butch Vig sitting there explaining how he made the contrast between like the clean and the heavy in the choruses and the verses. Yeah. And I was like, well, that's just fucking magic.
That's
right
inspirational.
There.
That is, isn't it?
Slap a rapper on that and see what you got, and it fucking worked.
Mate, yeah.
It worked, and these songs sort of weird riffs that came from sort of here and there. In 27 days, we had, I think, it was 9 songs.
Yeah, blimey.
Solid set,
and a few more in the background that we didn't want to play that night because it was like, well, they're not ready. But
okay,
so by the time Six's next gig came along, I think it was Halloween on Fire.
Halloween on Fire.
And by the time Halloween on Fire came along, our first Halloween on Fire, we'd blown everyone away with that 6 Degrees gig. They were like, well, you can sort of
jump straight.
You're our boys then,
jump up to the top of the bill. I think we were like maybe 2nd or 3rd from the end.
Yeah.
And it was like, right, let's go fucking smash the arse out of it. And we did. And we kind of lived it, mate. We all sort of. Like Kieran was very much a Jim Morrison type character. He did what he wanted. It wasn't cool. He was a pain in the ass. We fucking loved him for it. But
I bet everyone thought it was cool. I know what you mean. It's tough to work with these people professionally.
I'd love to watch these guys like play.
Oh yeah, great mate.
Stand back and watch it, but I never got the chance.
That's a funny thing.
Doing it.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
It's a funny juxtaposition. I've been in a few bands that I'd rather watch than be.
This must be very entertaining.
It's great though. Like I'll meet people and they'll just be like, were you in Jukari? And it's like, I've no idea who you are.
Jukari, I didn't put 2 and 2 together until he said, oh, he's in Jukari.
I remember, mate. Great. You had your green Parker jacket, mate.
Probably, yeah. That sounds about right, yeah.
And,
we were like indie rock metal, like we were just a mishmash of. Like, we'd wear Fred Perrys and Parkers, but we'd be playing hip hop grunge. Just like fucking, do you know what I mean?
Your drummer, I can't remember your drummer's name.
Dibley. Yeah, Wayne Hardy.
Awesome man. Like,
self-taught, just.
Yeah, he went on piano and stuff as well, didn't he?
Really good on piano, yeah.
Amazing, man.
Yeah, he can't stand playing the drums. I'd still be in a band with him now if he'd still play, but he just won't do it.
He won't do it now?
No. Because he was never taught. He hunched over the drum kit like.
Right.
He was so hunched over, his back started aching and he was like, oh, fuck this,
really?
Can't do it,
Wow,
just needed a broom pole down his t-shirt.
Basically, yeah.
Some posture settings, right? Some of those modern drum stalls, they look quite back supportive.
Yeah, they do.
And stuff.
We're going back to Bob Nunny, if you ever see him play, he's very rigid. His arms are flailing like crazy, but his back doesn't move. He's just but then Dibley was a self-taught drummer and Bob had lessons for like a fair amount of time.
Certainly teach you posture, I guess, and stuff like that. Yeah.
Anyway, enough about them motherfuckers. I'm talking about me.
So you've always been a guitarist?
Sorry,
Has that always been your instrument?
I originally started playing drums.
Did you? Yeah. There we go. That's why you're talking about drum lessons. Did you have lessons on drums?
Yeah, I had lessons for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
Before I ever thought of picking a guitar up.
Yeah.
Probably all started with.
So why drums? Because that's expensive, big, where the parents understand.
You don't think about that when you're 9 years old, do you?
Right, you were 9.
So.
Mum, I want some drums.
Maybe a little bit older. I always had this fascination for drums, and then the Commitments movie came out.
Oh,
right.
Yeah,
so
I
do you know what? Still one of my favourite ever films.
Mate, I'm speechless because I stole money out of my mum's purse when I was 14 to go and buy that on VHS out of Woolworths.
Awesome. Fucking awesome.
And Mum, I'm sorry, I'll give you the £10 back.
No,
she probably was worth it. You're listening anyway.
Let him
with inflation, probably with inflation, you're only £1,000.
DVD's like $17.99 now. You're fucking done, mate.
It's on VHS. I'll give it a VHS. She's that desperate for it. But mate, that film went over and over. It was a total inspiration, and I was a blues man at the time as well.
I've always been a soul boy, which moved into like the indie Britpoppy thing when I was younger, into rock and back to soul. And
it's a good grounding. It's good grounding. Was that your first musical sort of experience? Your parents' musical or anything?
Yeah, pretty much. Like whatever Mum was listening to, which was Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Sam Cooke,
good quality stuff.
All that sort of like all the good shit.
Yeah. Well made, well played. You know, good quality.
But then my first ever albums were Michael Jackson Bad,
which is awesome.
By my choice.
Quincy Jones is a genius.
My sister gave me the Blood Sugar Sex Magic, she brought it when it came out, which would have been 91, I think. And I was just like, I thought they were black for years. For years.
Because they were grounded in music then, didn't you? Really? You had some good musical education there.
But then I got into Oasis, which is where it got... Well, I mean, that's not a great musical start.
Hang on. Now, that makes me laugh.
I still love them.
And I'll tell you why. Because I saw you do a gig, and someone said right in your face, play Wonderwall, and you played 2 chords and went, you've got next to no fucking chance of hearing that song. So what was that about?
I was probably just having a wind-up. Oh, you want Wonderwall? Oh, you really want Wonderwall? Here you go. Fuck.
I know it's like pissed girl, not listened to the band at all. She hadn't paid one fucking iota of interest to you.
If she was standing
at the front, wandered up, she stayed up, and she went, play Oasis. Yeah. And you went,
get out of there, man. I love Oasis.
Yeah, I listen first 2 albums.
Yeah. Even Be Here Now.
Really?
I mean, I was still young at that time. Like some of the songs on there are great. Listening back, it's complete like cocaine fueled fucking overproduced.
Well, I had Mr. Ryan Redwood in here with them a few months back, and he's
he probably sucked that album off for hours. Didn't
he?
I bet you did some edits on that day.
I have got the original singles.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that I bought at the time.
Years ago,
and I showed him to him, and I think he wet himself.
Is it in the VHS box?
No, I bought them as they came along. I didn't buy any fucking box set. I bought them as they came along.
I didn't have the singles that came in the box. I found the box at Jive.
Oh, they're reissues, mate. These are first.
This was years ago.
Yeah, I know. It was years ago. It was like 30 years ago.
I think I've still probably got the whatever original fucking single for
I've got all 9 singles that I bought as they came out.
That's awesome, though.
It's not bad. And there's also an interview that they did that was released on Fierce Panda.
The brothers, the arguing.
Wibbling Rivalry.
That's the one. That was great.
I've got that on CD as well. Bought it when it came out. But I was a big fan until a 3rd album came along, and then I was a bit kind of like, it's all kind of sounds
like the live stuff with their harmonica player.
Mark Felton from 9 Below Zero.
He was fucking amazing.
He is amazing, and he's a huge hero of mine. And 9 Below Zero, if you haven't heard of him, if you get chance, have a listen to the album "Don't Point Your Finger at a Guitar Man" or "Live at the Marquee" or any of those, because their songs are killer.
Really?
They're like you heard of Dr. Feelgood as well.
Yeah.
So they're like the Canvey Island scene where we were talking to. Mr. Noel Fletcher, is it?
Noel Hendrick.
We were talking to him. Why do I say Noel Fletcher? But I've got him on mind. We were talking to him. Who was in Splodginess Abounds. We met up with him on Sunday, and we were well reminiscing about the Canvey Island scene, and he knew the guys from Dr. Feelgood and 9 Below Zero, which was just good punk rock, pub rock,
right?
But again, thinking man's punk rock, if you like.
That's what you mean. You can be a musical savage and be fucking intellectual and clever about it at the same time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you can do the 2 at the same time live, you're gonna fucking blow a room away. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I got with your covers,
and the drunk.
Yeah. It's all well chosen, aren't they? Because I want to talk to you about your repertoire. You seem to know thousands.
I wouldn't go that far.
Every time I see
Ryan Redwood, we mentioned him twice. I don't like it because he's Ryan, isn't it? I love him really. He once called me the human. I think it might have been that day at Amberfest.
Yes, he
did.
The
human fucking jukebox.
You are, mate. Honestly, yeah. So what's that all about? What? How do you
just
fucking remember it more than anything else?
You spoke about it before, like about how the Beatles they play covers and they play covers and they play covers, and eventually you just know all the fucking songs, don't you? You just got to remember the lyrics.
No, I forget them. That's why I'm in awe.
Yeah, that's why I have an iPad. And certain songs are like they're there. They have been for years, and I can call back on them like. Songs like, here we go. Oh my god, I haven't heard that for years. And I'll pick my guitar up and I'll play it and I'll sing it. You know what I mean?
Awesome.
It's like, it's just a natural sort of thing.
Okay. Yeah. So are you tempted nowadays? Because I know you only do sort of covers these days.
Yeah.
Are you not tempted to take all those years of learning all those covers?
Yeah.
And then see what comes out from all that musical education and write some songs? Are you never tempted? Why don't you do that?
Jukari was a big thing for that for me. That was a great musical, like creative outlet for me to spill out. And all through the years, the Jimmy Luffman experience. You asked about
who the hell is Jimmy Luffman?
Right, so we'll come back to that bit in a sec. So Jimmy Luffman, there's a movie called Chopper.
Yep. Yes.
It's in Chopper.
Yeah.
So the guy who cuts fucking Chopper's ears off is called Jimmy Luffman.
Okay.
And he had this ginger bouffant of a hairstyle.
Listeners, Mr. Ben Lever is quite ginger.
Very. Yeah. And one of my friend's girlfriends just sat around and she was like, you look like Jimmy Luffman, and it stuck with that group of friends for years.
Yeah.
And then you guys know Chris Brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
So his older brother Sam Brown is one of my closest friends, and I basically kicked his ass into playing a bass. He could play guitar a little bit. Kicked his ass into being a bass player, which eventually, after a long slog, he became a fantastic bass player.
Right.
Me, him, and Dibley, who we spoke about earlier, put this little band together, just doing covers, just playing. We were playing like the Morning Star pub down the road in Cambridge.
Yeah. Which is now a massive 6-bedroom house.
Yeah, it's like £1 million house.
They've only got one more bedroom than me.
Yeah.
Ooh la la.
We decided to put this band together and start playing a load of covers, and we needed a name just to put on the fucking on the board outside.
Yeah, I hate picking band names.
Everyone was calling me Jimmy Luffman, so I was like, we were doing a few Jimi Hendrix covers. I was like, where's the Jimmy Luffman experience? Isn't
Awesome.
It's got to be, and it stuck.
You talk about the Jimi Hendrix covers. That's another one of your one of the first videos I saw, because you were another one of those guys who could just put a camera in front of themselves, peel off something guitar-y, and it sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I go, because I try to do it, and it's like, I missed that string, and my voice sounds shit and stuff like that. But you were playing Little Wing.
Oh right, yeah.
So was Hendrix a big, or was early big influence of yours then for the guitar?
Definitely, I think I'd heard Hendrix songs, and then in my.
It's a cliche to say like Hendrix, but you can't be off it, can you?
Yeah, it's one of those things where everyone says, "Oh, Hendrix is great," but do they?
They really mean it.
Don't make me quote fucking White Man Can't Jump, man. You can hear Hendrix.
Yes.
You can listen to Hendrix.
Heard it.
But you haven't heard Hendrix.
Yeah.
Being a guitar player, you know Danny. Yeah. I mean, I presume you're a Hendrix
You've never
fan.
mentioned him much, have you? In all honesty?
That's because he kind of sits in the background. He's not mentioned by anyone anymore. But he's still.
But he's part of our integral learning as a guitarist. It's like if there isn't something that you have not taken from Jimi Hendrix, then you're an empty shell of a guitarist.
If you've ever played a triad,
Yeah.
on a strap with a slight snap at the end of your strum,
right?
Then you know
his songs is what teach you the techniques to do those bends and stuff.
Yeah,
like that, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, this is interesting because
he was a guy who couldn't sing. He made it sound amazing.
Go on, say again.
He was a guy who couldn't really sing, but he made the singing and the combined guitar playing just sound fucking amazing.
Why do you think that he was able to, I say get away with the vocals? I always thought they were cool and suited what
so
he did.
did I.
But I thought it was just because it was his voice.
Yeah.
It wasn't an affectation. He wasn't trying to be or sound like anything. It's just how he spoke. It was just how he was.
A bit like Phil Lynott at Thin Lizzy, because he wasn't necessarily like the best singer, but he was perfect.
Great, mate. Yeah. Jim Morrison. I mean, Jim Morrison,
flat as pancakes. That shit, isn't it?
But
Absolutely flat ass.
He had balls bigger than fucking Britain, mate. He'd fucking.
And that's
just
it, mate, isn't it? They stood behind their voices, I think.
Yeah.
And then
believed in it and just lived it.
Yeah.
This goes back. Jukari were like that. We just believed it and lived it. And I think that came across on stage. And
he turned up with just fuel, energy.
We had the worst gear.
Don't give a fuck.
We turned up with cracked cymbals and like this crappy old bass amp with a rip in the fucking like cone and we were using like cheap £16 at the time Behringer distortion pedals and stuff.
Right. So what was your first guitar then? How did you get onto guitar?
My mother wouldn't buy me a drum kit.
Swine, how dare she?
Yeah, I remember getting really angry with her and I was like, fine, buy me a guitar then. And
Spoiled bastard.
Well, it was a Christmas type thing. It was like, what do you want for Christmas? A drum kit. You don't have a drum kit. I want a drum kit.
Isn't £1,000? Do you mind?
I got offered a drum kit from my friend's dad in school. He was the captain of the Salvation Army.
Right.
Down the road.
Yeah.
And they had this Pearl, I don't know what, like serial number, whatever it was, but some Pearl drum kit. It was like the sparkly pearl colour.
Yes.
And there was like a cymbal missing. And they went, oh, you can have it for £10.
Yes, please.
So I went to my drum teacher. And he was like, well, if it's £10, it's not worth it. And my mum was like, took that as gospel. And I was like, I could have had a lush drum kit.
Yeah.
But so I, got a bit stroppy and buy me a guitar then. So she did. And then I spent like 2 years just plonking around doing nothing.
So you didn't take lessons on that or anything? No. What were you listening to? Listening to Hendrix? Listening to anything you could?
Yeah, a little bit. I was well into Queen at the time. That was a big thing.
Another excellent choice. Yeah.
But for a kid learning to play guitar, Queen.
It's a bit ambitious.
Yeah, it's a bit ambitious. I've got a nylon string guitar. It's like, I need to learn I need to learn some simple songs here. And then Oasis came pretty much at that sort of time.
Which
and it was like,
anyway, even I picked up a guitar during the Oasis series.
If you can't play Oasis on a guitar to get started.
Again, Wonderwall is a song that we all start off with that called Progression.
There you go,
it was a stroke of genius, really. I mean, and also the whole ethos of the Oasis thing was, they were all on the dole, and then they were in a band of multi-millionaires. Well, if they can do that, I can. And it came at a point where I was actually on the dole for a very short amount of time, and I thought, well, fuck this, I'm going to get me a guitar, do some gigs and be a rock star.
I went and did it. We did this little thing at school, all the schools at Celebration of Youth at the Seagull Theatre.
Yeah.
Got through to the finals at the Marina Theatre. Someone offered us, we were like 14 at the time, someone offered us an engagement party at the Corn Hut. And it's like, how long do you want us to play? It's like, all night. It's like, how the fuck are we going to do this? I don't know.
We're getting kicked
Let's
out
just go and do it. So we fucking did it. You know,
played the first set. The people weren't here during the first set, so we'll just do that again, and then we'll pick out the good numbers and finish them.
Exactly.
Yeah. String out the guitar solos.
We were really lucky in the fact that our guitarist's cousin was a guy called, you probably know, Matty Martin of Crawl Blind.
Yeah.
I've had a Crawl Blind, definitely.
Crawl Blind,
Yeah.
Matty and John Martin.
Matty.
Yeah. So, and they were my next door neighbours when I was like a baby, so we all kind of knew each other. And we needed a drummer, and they were like, he was like, well, I'll jump on. So that just made things so easy. Yeah, and that was where the sort of the fire for it came. And I was like, I'm going to do this. I remember going to my the teacher. I was the careers advisor. That's the guy. And literally,
that was a load of shit.
I was an arrogant fucker at school. I still am now, I suppose, in my own little way. But literally, they were like, what are you going to do? And I was like, I'm going to be a musician. I'm going to do this. This is what I'm doing. And they was like, no, you're not.
Well, you see now, right, I'm going to start with it, because the careers advisor are arseholes, because I was a musician, and at the point where they sent me to the careers advisor, I was 14. I'd literally come back for an American tour, and I sat in the careers office.
Some knob who's got a girlfriend.
And I don't know how. It was one of those meetings, you know, when you go to a meeting with your boss, and you go in there thinking, I'm going to ask for a pay rise, I'm going to ask for a pay rise, I'm going to ask for a pay rise. And when you come out, you think, you start tapping your pockets because you think you left a tenner in there. And you think, what happened to that fucking pay rise? So this is what happened in the careers officer. He then convinced me that I needed to be a policeman, and so I took A-level sociology.
Wow.
You got reverse psychology out of your music career, man.
I blame Barry, who sat across and said, call me Barry. So that's interesting, you're a musician, are you?
But the thing is with Barry, you met him once for about 4 minutes of your life, and he fucking, do you know what I mean? What an arsehole. You don't remember his face. I can't remember the face. I didn't care about her face at the time.
I bet they never advised anybody to be a career advisor for a career, did they?
Exactly.
Yeah, do you know what? It's a shit job.
Exactly.
That's right. Fuck them.
Sorry
I hope they haven't given up their day jobs. Jesus.
Yeah, screw them.
So what made you not want to do original music anymore? I'm just going to ask straight out. I'm not going to pussyfoot. What made you go? Jukari was great. You guys were obviously kicking it. Even me, in my suburban beauty of nappy changing and giving up music and all that, heard of you. So what made you go? This is all good fun. Fuck this.
The main reason we went from Jukari to the Bricktops, we basically just switched out a singer. For the rapper for a singer who was another mate of ours who was always on the sidelines of Jukari going, I can't believe you never let me be in the band.
Oh dear.
So we were like, for God's sake, and he could sing a little bit. So we were like, well, we had a lock-up and it was costing us like £175 a month to pay the rent for this place, and it was a fucking shithole.
So who was I talking to where nowadays we have rehearsal studios, whereas back then
I've still got a lock-up.
Did you know somebody with a garage, somebody with a lock-up and stuff like that? You've still got this thing.
I'm still at the same lock-up. They dropped the price. They hated Jukari. We were in nightmares. So they ramped our price up. So screw those guys.
But you had all this stuff. You had all this band going on. Thought shame to waste it.
We need to pay the rent for this place, and it's like we all had a love for this Britpop sort of era.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's do this on the side. We'll do Jukari for.
So it wasn't like original music is sucking.
No.
The scene sucks. It was literally.
It was to fund Jukari. Jukari were playing with signed bands. We were playing with Sonic Boom 6 and Kid British and all these up and coming signed bands, which most of them never really made it. To be fair, in hindsight, but we were doing it and we were going out and smashing it and getting good reviews and having great times.
Yeah.
And it was like, we can't afford to do it, so we're going to have to...
Oh wow, it was a monetary thing.
Yeah, we couldn't afford to keep the lock-up. And the lock-up was like, that was our creative base, that was our home. Like, for how grimy it was, the whole building. That was our spiritual place. So we need to keep this place. So we just started a tribute band, which ended up blowing up. And the singer from Jukari moved to Saudi Arabia.
Oh, right.
For a job, so it was like, well, we can't do the MC thing anymore.
Yeah.
So let's just carry on with
with the success with a cover band, and that went well as well.
Yeah, it went really well.
You never sort of look back to doing original stuff, right?
No, I still write, and I still play. I've got a load of songs on my phone that need mastering. And
right. So when you say so you've not got like a home recording setup or anything like that.
Well, now it's just an iPad. I do everything on GarageBand.
Cool.
I originally started off on a Tascam, one of the little blue 4-tracks.
Yeah.
Had that for years. Then went on to a digital 8-track.
Digital 8, they're all about.
A DAT disc Roland thing, which was shady.
So you're recording in GarageBand, which I do here. And, I send my streams off to Raoul at Blaze Studios for mastering. Is there going to be any of that from you?
There could be.
I want there to be.
There should be.
That would be awesome, especially the way you play. God damn it, man.
I think the mixes are sort of alright, but I've been doing everything through headphones, which is bad. I haven't really got my setup.
Leave the mixing and the mastering to the experts.
I probably should, yeah.
You don't get your post from the milkman, do you? I don't expect you to be good at mixing. You're a musician.
But I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I
know
what I want, and I don't want to get touchy with someone. You know what I mean? Because if I get touchy with them, I'm getting touchy with you.
Well, I did exactly
you shouldn't have this.
I know what you mean. I did the same process. I poured my heart and soul into these 12 tracks, acoustic guitar, harmonica, and I just mixed them myself. And then when I mastered it out, it just sounded weak.
Right.
It sounded really weak. And I know the musicianship was good in my heart. I mean, although I always doubt myself.
Which album was this?
It's You Don't Even Know, my first one.
Oh, I haven't heard that. I've heard
Invisible Prison.
The Invisible Prison and Mr. Smith.
Yeah, well, I had an acoustic album before that, which was my first foray into sort of home recording. And it's pretty simple, blues numbers and stuff like that, but it didn't have the volume and the oomph of something else. So I found Raoul, and sent to him and thought, shit, he's going to put that, people don't like harmonica. That's going to come back with a harmonica on the floor, or he's going to pan one left and one right.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
So, oh God, and he wants 40 quid a track, and that's a lot of money. So I said, can you do one? And I'll see what you think. Well, I could not believe what came back. I thought I didn't even know it was me. It was like, it sounds like a real guy. It's like, God, who's that? What's he done there?
Really?
But when I listened to it in essence, then it was. But and then I think I've had in the 3 albums he's done for me 2 revisions, and I think one of those because I forgot to send him a stem.
Oh, that sounds.
But he did our acoustic EP that we've got on hold in a minute, didn't he?
Yeah.
And I did the one that's out at the moment.
Yeah, you did that.
The Mr. Smith one.
Yeah, no, he did that one. No, I'm talking about one for me and Danny.
Right.
So Danny and I have got one in the can.
Oh, okay.
Waiting to come out.
Oh, nice.
But I did the Cafe Studios, which is why it's a little bit low on volume.
That was a live. Like
it was
just
a live
kept that as
recording.
live as anything, mate. There was no editing on that.
No, nothing. It was warts and all, 2 microphones even.
Literally make it as brutal
I literally 3 days ago, sat in a theatre and watched you 2 guys do that, and it was fucking phenomenal. It was amazing. So I brought my 12-year-old stepson with me, and he was just like, "Oh my god, that's fucking."
Is he, mate?
I was like, "This guy's a world champion." He's like, "Yeah, he really is."
Yes, Dad, I know.
And then spent like an hour trying to catch seagulls, polos out of a seagull's arse. But if you've ever been to the Seagull Theatre, that's a reference that you can discover for yourself. I'm not explaining that. We haven't got enough time.
So I say get some of that down. There's plenty of services. I mean, what I'd also do is I send him a sort of a rough mix. So I send him a guide.
Yeah.
So if I want an instrument faded off or a particular, I do the best I can and then say do that. But mate, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah,
I really don't.
Mate, Raoul's first mix, because I'm the same, mate. When I first recorded with you, I was like, mate, I know you're going to hate me, but could you please just, But I learned to chill out a little bit, and trust some other people's ears.
That's what I need to do.
But then when Raoul's just done that EP for us, mate,
that one of ours,
I listened. It's 4 tracks on there,
and I thought, here we go. I was expecting, and I saw the little dots come up when he was replying, and I expected it in an essay.
And I literally went.
I got 4 letters back.
Just dropped the echo a little bit off of the intro and Indigo Child, and I'm happy.
Really?
Simple as that,
awesome.
And I was like, man, that's just so nice, mate, just to go.
But I understand what you mean, because it's your baby, isn't it? You sit there and you've got precious hours and a precious time because of work and commitments and stuff.
Some of the tracks have got a lot going on. They've got horns in there, they've got like keys and stuff. And
is this all MIDI?
It's all done through GarageBand. Live guitars, live vocals, obviously.
Do you use the patches, the guitar sounds, or do you mic up cab and stuff?
A little bit of both here and there, yeah.
Because I did an experiment,
played around,
but
like,
I love the patches.
It's all an experiment.
I love the patches in that garage band.
I think the hardest thing was I'd recorded all these songs over the last few years on this one iPad, and then once I was listening to them together, it's like I need to make them sound like they sound right next to each other.
Yeah.
That's the hard.
That's why mixing and mastering engineer would help you.
It's horrible. I sent all the tracks to a friend of mine, Johnny Baker.
The bass player chappie in C3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that man is talented out the arse.
I love that man. He's he's such a legend.
It just plays a bass. It's just it's obscene why he's not famous. You know? Yeah, it is effortless. Yeah, it's like his breathing.
I sent him I think four tracks, and he was like, "I'm listening to one. It's a little bit loud, but it's great." And I was like, that's what do I think? I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll send them to you.
It's scary though sending it out, because I did that with my second album. Sent you because Danny was the ears on Invisible Prison,
right?
And I would send him a rough mix and go, "What do you think?" And then sit on the other end of the text and go,
and I would have to be brutally honest to the agreement that I'd signed up to at the beginning, but not rip your gizzards out.
Exactly.
Time, you know, there's a way of going about it.
I don't mind taking the brutal, but it's the sitting there and getting the oh yeah, it's it's alright.
You send it to some people.
I'd rather you just tell me what to change with it, and or tell me it's fucking great. That's what I want to hear.
Oh, Mrs. says this shit is great.
Yeah,
she don't know. She ain't listening. God damn it, you don't understand me.
Especially when you know that there's mistakes in there that you want them to pick up on, and if they don't, you're like, you ain't being truthful to me.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
It is part of that, but I also think we are so self-critical that sometimes the odd slip of the string, the odd squeak on the string, and the odd mistake, and the odd miss note is really no one fucking cares.
It's character at the end of the day.
It's played by a real person,
Yeah.
and it's not integral to the song. The song is not going to fall to pieces because you missed one of the strings and you didn't strum it correctly in the middle of the chorus, unless it's really fucking obvious, like it's the wrong chord.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? You think, oh,
sometimes as a guitarist, it probably is like playing a harp. It's just a timing thing, and you're like, oh, I got the note. It's the time, and every time you hear it,
you know,
like, everyone hears that song. Then it's like, oh yeah, that's how it should be. To me, I'm like, I'll hear a Guitarist song from, I mean, that was 2007 to 2000 whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe different, I don't know. But I've got the tracks on my phone. They pop up every now and then, and I'm like, oh, that note, I put far too much shit. What was I doing with the delay fucking knobs on there? I was like trying to make.
I mean, there is the other
carp fishing sounds. Well,
sounds
fucking
There is also the harsh reality that unless you really make it, unless you get it proper out there, that not that many people are probably going to hear that.
And that's the other brutal honesty that
was like I gave to Danny the first few months.
Because you're so worried about what you're putting out there as being good, but actually the reality is that you're lucky if anybody listens to it once you're actually
exactly.
Absolutely.
When Jukari began, we did 2 albums, and it was before the whole Spotify type thing. The best you could do was upload them onto MySpace.
MySpace.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So like you have like 2 or 3 tracks on MySpace, and the rest were fucking. I think each album we did 200 copies.
Yeah.
Like painstakingly sat there with our bass player, the graphic
we
designer.
Sat there for a whole day.
He worked
at
Super Supersign on London Road South, and all the materials, and we like cut everything out and paste them on, put the books together, staple the books together. There must be 200, so they're out there somewhere.
Yeah.
I've got the digital copies. But I'd love to have an original of each one.
There are CDs I've had made, and there's 2 copies left probably of them, and I keep them. They're in their rack up there.
I wish I
No one's got any. No one's got any.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
That's
and we made 200. Like I say, we sat down, we folded them over. We all thought, we're gonna be.
That was part of the thing. That was it. We believed it. We
sent them to A&R men who probably just slung them straight in the bin.
Probably, yeah. We were too stupid to send them to A&R men. We were just like, we had no idea what
I've got folders full of letters from A&R boards. Yeah, from big companies too. I've got ones from Columbia and all sorts of stuff saying
I've never tried.
Thanks.
I've never ever tried.
This back we put them all in little puffy envelopes and posted them like, gave me a little kiss, please.
I suppose in the back of my head I've still got that 14-year-old attitude. I'm going to make it. I'm fucking 38 and I'm still sitting. I'm working out the roads.
One day someone's going to drive past your bedroom window and go, well, like, the chief exec from Sony will lean out of his window.
What's that track you're playing?
What's that shout, boy? Hey, boy, I'm going to make you a star. That's crazy. No, he fucking won't. He's not going to. He don't live near here.
So, that's the whole thing. A lot of the gigs I do now, because it is all cover based, it's just a matter of getting in the pub, smashing out a load of songs. Back in the day, I'd throw one of my own original songs in there. But the sort of pub gigs around here now, people don't want to fucking hear it.
You've got to find a array of gigs going on.
Yeah,
You've got a duo with, is that Masie from Boston?
Yeah,
so
earlier, she came back.
So the Masie-Joe and...
Masie-Joe and Ben show. There's only two of us, but it sounds like there's three of us.
That's a great name.
Masie-Joe and Ben.
Yeah.
But we just do a load of... We do a bit of everything, like soul type stuff. Cool. I've got a loop station. So I'll bash some stuff on there. I've got a stomp box which I recommend you getting. I paid like £19 for it. It's just a cigar style stomp box.
Oh mate, you see my foot goes all over the place.
Exactly.
Well,
feet are going in tandem, so they
we kind of talked about that. We have talked about these things, and mine just doesn't have any timing to it whatsoever.
It depends which one of the rhythms it's following.
It's sort of both your feet are going in different ways. Like a little bit of practice. It was really hard for me to get into it, but it makes a lot of difference.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Was it like learning another instrument, kind of?
Well, yeah, it's like adding another limb, and it's like playing one drum with your foot while you're strumming and singing. Yeah, I know, but yes, just putting it all together, isn't it?
Oh, it really is. I can't sing and play guitar at the same time.
Oh, really?
So absolutely not. I can sing and play harmonica at the same time. I can too. Daniel testify. So do you find it hard getting gigs around here like that? Because you've always had seemed to have a bunch. Do you chase down menus for all that?
Not really.
Who does that?
They chase me most of the time. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. It's been a bit different since the pandemic because a lot of the pubs have changed sort of landlords and stuff like that. So I've been chasing them a lot more. Getting a lot of rejections as well from pubs that I've played. I've been doing New Year's Eve in like the Lady of the Lake before I went away to the Middle East. 3 or 4 years in a row. And then come back.
It's changed hands.
Build a band good enough to do that again.
Yeah.
Took 2 years. Pandemic hit. And they're just like new landlord, and they're like, "Who are you? What are you on about?"
So you think people ask you, you've built a decent reputation as being the guy who does good covers and stuff like that.
Yeah, I like to think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I've got a repertoire. If you ask me to play a song, if I can't play the whole thing, I'll play a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Probably fuck it up on purpose, just to get out of it because I don't know where I'm going to go, and then make a joke of it. And
that's where your confidence in your experience comes through, mate. Yeah, it's like to be like in that sense, human jukebox, mate. Awesome, man. For me, there's no way I could do that.
That gig at the Amber Fest, I think I was just taking the piss out of Ryan, having banter with him, and I was like, right, I'm going to do half an hour of power ballads now. And people were just shouting out power ballads, and I was giving you 30 seconds of that power ballad.
Yeah.
I was like, how the fuck?
Have you always been that confident, or do you remember shitting yourself at a few gigs?
I still get a little bit of pre-gig jitters, a little bit.
You've always looked very comfortable up there.
Yeah. I'm always pretty drunk up there. That's the key to it, mate. So have a few double rums and fucking I'll entertain you all night. I'll give it a damn. If I can't entertain you, it's your fault. You're a grumpy bastard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's it, mate. No,
like I say, the repertoire is massive, and I think that's everything. And I think collecting songs is a really, really important part of musical growth. And like I say, I do that where I could probably play you the intro to most songs that you mention, but I wouldn't then do that at a gig. But you would do a gig of
why
that.
Not? That's brilliant.
That's brilliant. I think it's really good fun, though, right?
If you mess it up, everyone's just like. Say I messed it up and I was a rabbit in the headlights, and everyone would just look at me and be like, "Oh my god, you didn't mean to do that." If I mess it up and laugh at myself, I go, "Well, fuck that, I'm going to another song." I didn't like that song anyway. Like, do you know what I mean?
Play it off, mate, don't you?
You give it some banter, some bullshit, and crack on. Yeah, it's brilliant.
Do you have like a core amount of songs in your head that you sort of good old faithfuls in your back pocket? They call it in America.
Yeah, I do.
You want to share these songs? Tell us what they are, maybe. Get a pen and paper, people. Get these down.
If I'm on the fly, I never have a set list.
Right.
I always have a list of songs and some lyrics in there somewhere.
See, my head goes fucking blank as soon as I look at a microphone sometimes.
I'll read the crowd.
Yeah.
For me personally, you've got to read the crowd. If I've got like an older crowd in there, they don't want to hear me playing anything modern.
Sure.
Probably not interested in Oasis and that whole Britpop thing.
Yeah, Green Day.
Exactly. They're probably going to want some old soul-y type stuff or some old classics. Bit of Rod Stewart or
fucking Brown-Eyed Girl.
Yeah,
go down
exactly.
Storm down there, wouldn't
exactly.
You know? Yeah.
The thing is, I try and stay away from the cliches as well, which is
wow,
kind of hard.
One, isn't it?
It is really hard. It's like you've got to throw something in there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Yeah, you like.
What's your core songs then? What's your core sort of?
Oh God, it jumps all over the place.
Okay, so how about this then? If we named a crowd scenario, let's try that crowd scenario.
Mid-30s.
Mid-30s.
To early 40s.
I've always liked starting with, and you've got to be a Beatles fan to appreciate this. Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
What, the actual track?
Yeah, straight into A Little Help My Friends.
Yeah.
Into She's Electric by Oasis, because they're really similar songs and they just mix really well together.
And they did have a heavy influence on Oasis.
Exactly.
Some might say.
Yeah, they might say. So that would be like a mixed crowd of 30-ish-year-olds. They're probably going to want to hear something along those. I'm doing Sgt. Pepper's to warm my vocals up.
Right.
A Little Help from My Friends, because everyone knows that song.
Yeah.
She's Electric is probably most people's favourite Oasis song that isn't one of the big singles.
No, sure.
It's up there, isn't it?
Yeah, and I don't know if they played it too many times live.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but it is a great, good, fun
so
song.
I'd start off like that, and then I'd plough into some soul and start doing some, like, say, My Girl, Through the Grapevine.
Nice. Yeah.
Start testing the vibe, just to see if people are dancing or just starting to move, because this is the beginning of the set.
So this sounds like a craft that you've sort of honed over a lot of years, really, because like I said about before, and you mentioned it where I mentioned about the Beatles doing that down the Star Club, basically playing for 8 hours a night. You're going to get a pretty good feel of how the audience is reacting, and you're going to know your songs by the end of it.
Exactly,
So is that what you feel you've been doing over the past
100%.
15, 20 years? How long have you been doing?
I started when I was 14, I'm 38, 24 years.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it is. It is, and a good time to hone that craft and build that up, isn't it?
A lot of the times you'll have a pub full of people who don't give a flying shit.
No, and that's what winds us up about doing local gigs.
Yeah, you have 2 or 3 people that just start to get on a little bit, and if you can get that guy fired up, he's going to fire someone else up because he's been a pain in the ass. And before you know it, even if it's in the last fucking half an hour of your gig when you're doing your last few encores,
you'll get something.
You're gonna you hit the right songs. You know.
I think that is the absolute trick of playing in local pubs and bars and stuff like that. And not without doing sort of the more. I mean, for original music, Danny and I didn't deliberately. We haven't pitched it at the local clubs and bars because there's not our audience. They're not going to get what we're playing. We don't do covers. So we pitched it towards the theatres, the festivals, the stuff like that. Yeah. Which are
it's
really
always fresh
freaking hard gigs to get, but people go to those to hear original music, so it's a different audience. But I totally agree, and I played that. See, I was in a cabaret band, and you had to I'm so glad to hear another musician say, "You've got to grab them, you've got to turn them. If you're not enjoying yourself, then it's not my fault."
100%. The thing is, at the end of the day, like if I'm not enjoying it, you're not going to enjoy it.
No.
And if I'm not enjoying it, I don't want to do it again.
No.
And I've had periods of time where I've played a few fucking shit gigs to shit crowds. And it's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, some crowds are not going to be turned.
I always love playing in a band so much more than I love playing by myself. If I'm playing with Masie as a duo, that takes a lot of pressure off, and it's just like it's a lot more fun. It's just fun having someone there to bounce off.
Mate, because exactly. And I love having someone to share it with.
You got a nice little camaraderie going between you as well. You talk about your chaps and shit.
We never know where it's going to go, mate. Literally, I just follow along. I'm like, okay.
It's great though. It's comfortable on stage. It feels natural. You know what I mean? I can see why people take to you. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well,
and people just shouting, "Disgusting!" from the back of the fucking theatre in like the most appreciative way.
Thank you, Robbie. That was Robbie Hodgie, which is again I think the best compliment I've ever had, because I actually knew what he meant. That's disgusting. I think it was at the end of one particularly long and difficult phrase that we'd got to. Well, not difficult. It was difficult.
We were all thinking it. It's just we weren't expecting it. The second that note stopped, disgusting. It's fucking Hodgie's here. Here we go.
Legend.
I also said to one of my mates had I can't remember what track it was, but they had it was like, what you listen to? I was like, fucking listen to this guy playing harmonica, and he was like, he sounds like Slash on a harmonica.
Slash.
And I was like, well, there you go, man.
I'll take that to the bank. I've been called
exactly.
Eric Clapton. I think was a massive compliment, but I think Slash is the best one.
Right. The harmonica community don't deserve you, mate.
No, I've heard you talk about those dickheads before, and they fucking
they're not all like that. I have to say, I think we have this one cross section. I have been by the sea guys. I have been by the sea guys, and they know what I'm like. They know exactly what I'm like, and they probably know what I'm talking about as well. But them boys are salt of the earth. There is a cross section of I don't know whether it's the patriarch of the bloody harmonica community, but it's a couple of guys. Maybe, yeah. There's a couple of guys in it for their own financial gain as well, and that kind of gets on my tits.
There's nothing wrong with that. That's what I do.
There's nothing wrong with that if you love the harmonica as well. But
I've got a family to feed, man. I claim to pub less than £100, unless I like it. It's a charity gig. We're doing the Jubilee together, I think.
We are, yeah.
What time are you guys playing?
I think we're on at 5. Darren said.
See, I've got a gig to go to straight after.
Oh right.
Like a private garden party, so I'm going to miss you. We're on at 3, I think.
So you probably do it before us, and then you're going to bugger off.
Yeah.
Well, none taken, mate. None at all.
Yeah.
You know, you've got 2 gigs in a day.
It's Maisie's uncle's 60th birthday, so I don't even know if I'm getting paid for the fucking thing, but might be 2-3 gigs in a day.
2 gigs and no money.
Fucking hell.
So I've got 2 gigs the day before, no money, and we're driving to bloody Downham Market, aren't we, in the morning? There's no money in that, and then Necton, no money in that either.
I think I've got 7 in the next 2 weeks, or from this weekend to just after Jubilee.
Yeah.
Which is, I haven't done anything like that in ages.
Where you at locally then, mate?
Most of it, yeah. Like a few private parties. We're doing the opening for the Fighting Cocks pub.
Oh wow, I saw they were in there the other day.
It was one of the first places I ever played as a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, there was a lot of music in there.
And a guy I know from years ago, he's a friend of like the family, he messaged me and said, will you do it? And I was like, a bit of a reputation, but yeah, I'll go in there and I'll do it, fuck it, why not?
I think I did a gig there when I was 17, so that was 1993, I think the last time I played in there. And it was known for music, it's a good sized pub, isn't it? Yeah.
Dude, I played there probably 3 years later, in 96. My main memory is playing I Am the Walrus by the Beatles in there. So I was like 14 years old playing obscure Beatles songs.
You always
must have been looking about, because Hawkins literally only lived like 200 yards down the road from there, right where the Fighting Cocks is on the corner.
He was in the garage?
He's right there.
Oh, where did you live?
No, I lived in Kesselin, mate.
Oh, right.
Where the Fighting Cocks was, just a little street down there, those little terrace houses, that's where Justin and Dan were.
Yeah,
mate.
they were.
So they must have been in that pub.
There was a double garage that they used to practice in.
Yeah.
And the singer from Jukarist, Kieran, lived on Kirkley Gardens, number 1.
Yeah.
So like we were always like knocking around that area, and we'd give those guys so much shit through the door. We'd just be like, oh, hey,
we're talking about the guys from the Darkness, obviously, we're the biggest rock export, apparently.
They're great. I'm a fan, mate. That's another 2 brothers who can play guitar like crazy.
Jesus. Apparently, I was in the same year of school as Danny, and he must have been in my music class, but I do not remember him at all. People go, oh, you know, even
you're probably the one person low stuff who actually has a story. It doesn't fucking tell everyone around.
I
didn't remember him.
No, I didn't remember it at all. My mates will say, "Do you remember Danny in our year? He was in your so-and-so class." I fucking remember a thing, mate. Not at all. But Justin's a year older than me, so I didn't know. Didn't have a clue.
I actually watched his YouTube channel. Have you seen his YouTube channel?
I have, yeah. What do you think? What do you think about his channel?
I quite like him.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Everything about me says you shouldn't like this guy, but I kind of like him. He's alright.
Do you know what?
He's very sort of on the fence with everything he says.
He's very trite. That's what he is.
His headlines are almost like, he's going to rip the shit out of someone, but then he just sits comfortably on the fence.
Yeah, but he does, and then he does it with a little smirk as well. It's just, and then he doubles up the vocals, which is obviously a good thing to do.
Yeah,
like, smug little shit.
Oh my God,
you know,
it's like purely channeled.
Yeah, but he obviously knows what he's talking about.
Does,
and he's obviously really, 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 really well musically educated. You know, and that's great.
Yeah, I mean, he talks.
I respect
I'm a Council Estate musician, so when he starts talking technicalities, I don't know what you're on about. Play it, and I know what you're on about.
And yet you went to the same school and had the same music teacher as him.
Yeah, and you, a world champion fucking harmonica player.
When he's working outside,
I am the human jukebox though.
You are, we're no more songs than me. That's a dead
qualified.
Unless we're talking about 1930s show tunes, then I'm away.
Yeah, no, not really. I couldn't tell you one, mate.
So why did you never do anything like cruise ships or anything like that? Never fancy that, because I would have thought, especially with your repertoire and stuff, it would have been great, right?
A lot of those opportunities, I never really saw opportunities like that until recently. I joined a Facebook group, Band Depping or something along those lines. And loads of jobs pop up there. A lot of them want you to be like sight reading, guitarist, vocalist at the same time. There's a few who's been acoustic, but I've got a family now, so I can't go jet setting around the world again.
I know what you mean. Yeah,
when I went to Saudi Arabia to work, I thought this is it for me. I'm not playing for a long time.
Right. And
Kieran takes me he drives me 20 minutes across the border to Bahrain.
Now I've seen you playing in some bars playing the ukulele.
I played every week in there. I literally went over there. They've got a Filipino band called, I think it's a terrible name. It's like Rock United or something. But each one of the members are just expert masters at their fucking craft.
Wow.
Awesome.
Wow.
And they play 13 nights a fortnight. They have one Monday off a fortnight.
Bloody hell.
4 hours a night.
Jesus.
And you can go in there. They're the only real rock band in Bahrain. There's a lot of pop bands and things that do that sort of thing. And you go in there and you say, can you play this? And if they can't play it, they'll play it for you the next night.
Shit.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you make friends with them, they're like, well, come play with us, man. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
So you got right stuck in
So,
there.
so
then,
I got,
Yeah.
So I thought I was going out there to never play a fucking guitar again,
Yeah.
as long as my Saudi career would be. And it turned out every weekend I was
Keeping your skills
mortal
up.
drunk playing Jimi Hendrix in front of like a load of Thai
Ukulele.
girls and shit. It was awesome.
Brilliant.
Fantastic, mate. Yeah.
Quit in, mate.
Yeah.
Quit in.
That band had never played that song.
No.
They literally, before I played it, I think I'd been out somewhere, turned up with my ukulele.
Yeah.
Because I'd brought it out there and I was like fucking. Then, I think it was Is This Love?
Yeah.
Bob Marley.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, we never heard this song. It's like, how can you not have heard this
Yeah,
song?
right. You don't know what they're exposed to.
Yeah,
in their culture,
exactly.
do you?
Yeah. And they smashed it.
Awesome.
Yeah, on the night. with a very intoxicated
Yeah.
ukuleleist, if that's what you call himself.
Fantastic.
It's great, mate. It's brilliant.
Well, mate, I'm really glad that there's like,
Yeah.
you know, a guy of your calibre going around and keeping the local pubs entertained
You
with some
got it,
decent
yeah.
taste in music, you know,
That's it.
and don't leave it to all the karaoke machines. I think the professional
So
karaoke
many
bots,
pubs around here now
Yeah.
are just booking karaoke.
guys with an
bars.
iPad, yeah,
it's,
no
it's
instrument
terrible.
at all, you know. But that's what people want to hear, and I
Yeah.
can understand that they're having a few drinks, and that's what
You-
gets bumps on seats.
You
I get
get a
that.
guy with a guitar in that bar that can do it well, though. And
Absolutely.
trust me, they
Well,
want to hear that more than the karaoke. They
Yeah.
just don't fucking know it. And
No.
the landlords don't know it. You know what I mean? They think it's a pain in the arse having live music in there. It's easier to get a karaoke. The karaoke's doing the same thing as me. I've just got a guitar.
Well, also PAs are a bit different these days, aren't they?
Yeah.
The tech is
Yeah,
incredible.
yeah,
I've seen some of them Bose PAs, like what
Yeah.
Tony Graham has and stuff like that. They're unbelievable.
They
They're really tiny compared to what you used to have to luck around.
Exactly,
The
yeah.
Fucking PV things.
It seemed like all the good gigs back in those days were upstairs as well. So you had to carry that shit
Of course
all the way
they
up the
were,
fucking
yeah.
stairs and break it
Those
back.
tiny PAs.
Yeah.
They're all downstairs.
Yeah, I've seen people fall down the stairs carrying gear.
Yeah,
Like these
well,
big metal shiny stairs.
Yeah, that's it, mate.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
shite.
brutal.
I had a 4 15-inch cab, Laney, mate, that I used to carry up there. I weighed about 7 stone at the time, I'm only 9 stone now, and I used to carry that thing up them stairs, mate.
It's brutal.
Good times, good times.
I saw a guy called Kev Tootles. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a bigger guy. He's a bass player. Pick up like a massive bass cab and just plonk it on his shoulder.
His shoulder, yeah.
And then carried the head in his other hand and walked down the stairs like they were fucking nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, I know. I was about 15, just like, I think we were using his bass amp. It was set up there and we shouldn't have been using
Are you
it.
talking about the side stairs on the side of the metro or wherever it
And
was?
suddenly this door opens, my bass player
yeah.
unplugs and
Seabreeze.
unplugs, and he's like, "Yeah, come to get my bass amp." Perfect time. And this fucking 8 foot
Bounce on his head.
monster just picks his amp up, and muscles down the stairs with it. It was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Well, mate, I really hope you get the original stuff done as well.
Yeah,
man.
I was actually talking to Ryan recently about how he goes about getting on Spotify, because I'm
same.
clueless with that. I'm a player. I don't tech stuff. That's above me. So he's put me onto a little line of
Inquiry.
attack. Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
a
inquiry,
distributor
yeah.
and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I mean, it's
Just a
a
little
bit
look.
of a ball ache as far as admin goes. I find we've talked about this a lot.
That's
haven't
where I
we, Danny?
suck, man.
Yeah.
It really is, but you know, the DIY musician, you know, hopefully, I wanted to get in there, but the aim was on these podcasts to get someone in who knows about it stuff and talk about it. But
Yeah,
I think
that'd
I'm
be
just going
awesome.
to have to talk about it and tell people how
Yeah,
to
you
do it.
seem
Is
to
what
be
it's
the
gonna
most
do.
knowledgeable guy I know about.
to tell people how to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would definitely look into getting them
Yeah.
mixed and mastered by somebody else because I think it would be a shame for them not to be heard. To be honest,
Yeah,
mate, you know.
to be
That'd
fair,
be good.
they've been kicking around for so long as well that it's
Plus,
almost
Yeah,
like
mate,
Everyone's
move
always
on,
open.
get some more.
Yeah,
Collaborations, man, as well. You know,
Yeah.
everybody you've heard on this, mate, it's just anybody collabs. Awesome,
Yeah.
mate. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's how I met you properly, was collaborating at that jam night at the Mariners Rest.
Yes, it was,
Yeah,
wasn't it? It was
Yeah,
us three had a jam
yeah,
together.
there was a few fucking moments that night.
Brother
which were
Exchange,
they were
mate, was when me and you played that together, and we were looking at each other like, I don't know what to play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jamal's girlfriend's got all those videos on Facebook. So you should go on through videos, you can see them all. And there are moments where it sounds great, but we are literally just like, what is going on?
That's good, isn't it?
I think we covered. I don't even know if you knew the song "Blind Melon," "No Rain."
Yes, I heard of it
Yeah.
years ago. I didn't know how to play it, but I'd obviously heard it years
You
ago.
obviously did, because you fucking played on that so well. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
I just got good at improvising. You know what it's, you know what it's like. I just get good at improvising. And so I do meet a lot of musicians say, well, I can't improvise because they've learnt it parrot fashion.
Right.
But I think it sounds to me like that's something you've learnt to do over the years of, you know, just
I was sort of
facing the fear and going, right, I'm just going to play this song, and if I don't know, I'll bluff it.
Yeah. We had a substitute teacher called Mr. Osborne, Andrew Osborne. I don't know if he's still around or what.
I remember him from you was about Kirkley days,
he used to wear acrylic nails, he used to dribble a little bit, but he was phenomenal, he was so good. And he sort of drilled it into us. He could see that all I wanted to do was strum a guitar and sing.
Yeah.
But he was like, you need to learn to push yourself and improvise, and he taught me a little bit about improvising, and that was stuck with me. So 9 times out of 10 I'm playing with the Boston Tea Party and there's key guitar solos, and if there's key guitar solos in the song, I'll hit as much of it as I can, but I've got a gammy little finger, so I kind of do my own thing, and it turns into improvisations. A lot of the time it goes fucking, you know, it flies.
I
mean, I have a few moments where I'm like, oh Jesus.
I mean, there are guitar solos, I think, you know, most of the Queen ones people can whistle and stuff like that, but past that I think generally, unless, like you say, unless it is absolutely integral, everyone goes, but most of the time pissed in a pub at 11:15 no one's going to give a crap.
I've got to learn a whole lot of Rosie for a private party next week. So I've never played AC/DC.
You'll love it.
It's great. I've been doing it all week, mate. But there's a lot of space for improvisation. Just do what you got to do, man.
Chuck it in there, man.
Yeah, cool. Well, Ben, thanks for coming on and spending the time with us, mate. Thanks, Danny, for coming over and grilling him and taking it back to the beginning. And thanks for not getting in a scrap about that band, Battle of the Bands thing. And that's all right. We're well over that. We're all grown-ups now. And, mate, we'll look forward to it.
We'll all have to enter the Battle of the Bands.
We'll just start one.
We'll start one.
We'll just have one.
We'll fix it so we're all...
fix it so mine wins.
Me versus you two.
Why do I have to be on his team?
Because you're on his team.
Well, guys, thanks for your time.
Awesome.
And we'll see you soon.